Gavin Adcock and Charlie Crockett are fighting, and outside the country world, you're probably like, who are these people? But in Nashville, this is a conversation. And it's not because of the drama that's actually like happening between them. The real conversation is it real? And it's clearly working. I should do it with my artist. Who can my artist feud with? And if you don't know these guys, like Gavin Adcock
Yeah, can I
is like,
ask a question? Is this like when Baby Gronk rizzed up Lizzie?
I don't know what
Yes,
any
it
of
is
those
like
words
that.
are.
I don't
It's
know what
actually
that
very
was.
similar.
This is another cultural moment where everyone went, "Who the fuck are these people?"
Like, excuse me. Well, well, you know what though? That is such a that's the point I want to make is that like you have a niche, and I don't. Every genre is a niche to a degree, and there's stars in that genre, right? There's Morgan Wallen. Everybody on the planet knows Morgan Wallen, right? But then there's these smaller players that are. If you are in the country, you know who Gavin Adcock is. If you don't listen to country, you don't. And so the idea behind these in marketing is to elevate the genre to the entire public. That is the whole point of manufactured shit like this. And by the way, I'm not saying it's manufactured. I genuinely don't know, but to a degree, Gavin Adcock is a character. Charlie Crockett is definitely a character. If you Google Charlie Crockett Subway, you'll find that he was a completely different artist 10 years ago, which is, by the way, Gavin Adcock actually shared this video of Charlie on a subway singing like R&B, I guess it was. It's not country.
Yeah.
So these guys are characters. Every artist is a character to a certain degree. And what they're trying to do is in the genre, they're famous. Outside the genre, it's a totally different story. So, you know, is it real? Can you even manufacture these things? Like, it's so difficult. Jesse says yes.
Okay.
The first thing I looked at was were they signed to the same label, and they're actually not.
So Andrew queuing me up really well. Okay, let the older man, not old man, give you guys some
Older
history.
man.
Sure.
Oldest
Yes,
man.
I'm at an advanced age. Okay, so back in the 2000s, we get the signing of Fall Out Boy, The Killers, and The Bravery, all by Rob Stevenson at Island Def Jam. Which three artists fought constantly right as all three of them were getting popular? Every day you would have a headline on NME, Rolling Stone. Pete Wentz says Brandon Flowers is a Mormon loser, whatever the hell it was. That's not accurate, just for the record. They went back and forth. Then The Bravery, who a lot of history has forgotten, they got involved too. And I'm sitting here because I'm doing a lot of work with Island at the time going, I noticed something in common here. Not only are all three artists on about the same thing, they're all talking to the same people at the same label in the same A&R department. And I'm like, I think I smell something here.
It wouldn't necessarily even have to be the same label, because like for there's like management companies that might have artists from a bunch of different labels,
True.
and like the management will get 15 to 20%, and the label, the artists want the clout that comes from that too sometimes. So it's like they know this guy and that guy. Like, how about you guys like shit on each other a little bit online, and then now everyone just gets more money.
But also,
Oh, Apple.
I can't
but
handle it,
also,
dude.
but the other thing is that there's a couple interesting things I see happening. One is the amount people remember those feuds is fucking crazy to me. Like every once in a while, like a relatively young person, I actually had it with The Killers and The Bravery. Someone like mentioned on a consultant, like a young person mentioned that on a consultant call recently, and I was like, how do you what? But like people remember that shit. The second thing is what I think happens a lot, what I see happening a lot is someone says something, someone like posts a story that's like a hot take about another artist because they're just being goofy, and then that like goes nuts, and then they lean in.
If it goes nuts. If it doesn't, you just move on.
Yeah, exactly. But like you definitely see people doing this, right? And you also see you see fans manufacturing rivalries.
Yeah.
Right? Where like even like stuff like I've seen it happen in our relationship group, like our friend group. Like I
They want
have
us to
posted
fight
something,
so bad.
but
Yeah.
like I have posted something contradicting one of you guys, not even intentionally, because like just like because we're all like filming and posting a few days out broadly. and or just I'm not like up to date on everything all the time, but I'll like
Yeah.
post something that contradicts to one of you guys, and I'll get a bunch of comments that are like, "Are you guys fighting?" And it's like, no, I just said something different
People
than
have
him.
thought that me and Jesse have hated each
Yeah.
other for
Yeah,
years.
but what
for
I'm
some
saying is
reason.
that's what I'm saying, right? Is that there's so much fans emphasize it, and then people who are like, "Oh fuck, this got a bunch of interactions."
It's fun. It's look,
Yeah.
like
we
conflict can be
could
fun.
all orchestrate this like ridiculous feud online, and
Mhm.
then like when we meet it for the podcast, just not even acknowledge it at all. But then like behind the scenes of social media, we're just like shitting on each other,
Bro,
and then
my
we'll
my
super
wife
viral and
listens
then
to the
cash out and
Burt
go home.
Show, and
Wait,
people leave the Burt
the
Show.
the what?
The Burt Show. It's an Atlanta show. It's all about pop culture. But recently, one of the hosts, it's like one of us leaving, right? And it is like an event because they're like, what is the drama? Like, if I suddenly left this podcast a year in, people would be like, what the fuck happened?
Yeah.
What, that stuff it really sticks. And I'll tell you too, that what I find interesting about it, and this is what makes me feel like that Gavin Adcock, Charlie Crockett thing is manufactured, is that they have templates for brands at these labels. They really want these artists to fit a template. And Gavin Adcock is the rebel, and Charlie Crockett is the lover. And their marketing around this conflict literally matches it. Everything that Gavin does is like rebel, rebel, rebel. And how Gavin or Charlie Crockett has responded is lover. He's like, whatever, it's all good. It's all peace and love. He left some flowers or something at a venue that Gavin was going to the next day. It's literally framing their entire branding, which as an artist is one of the hardest things to get across. So when you have a microphone to your artist and everybody's paying attention and you have an opportunity to communicate a message and you see and you push that message, that's when I'm like, this feels
Yeah.
played, which honestly, fine. Okay. I'm honestly impressed if they can, nail it down.
I mean, Kendrick and Drake created tens of millions of dollars of wealth for themselves with
Oh,
that
God.
beef. And like, it will have books written about it, all these things. And like, I get a little bit more cringy when people say people are dating each other for these things, because like, I've had it said about friends who are like really in love and things like that. And like, I find it a little silly, but like, when it comes to dumb things like, a classic one that I see TikToks about all the time is Brand New and Taking Back Sunday.
Oh,
Is
yeah.
like, like it can be real. Like
That
artists
was
do
real.
also,
That was
yeah,
ugly.
and I was around those guys. It's like this. There is this thing too that is also real, which is that artists in competition at the same time often really fucking hate each other behind doors and smile to each other in person and do little winks. And some people take that better than others. Some people are all about the love and very good, and some people are nasty, catty little bitches.
I'm here for it.
But but it's again, I think it's a thing where it's like there are ways to do it that again, and people have come out and acknowledged that some of these feuds were completely fake. Like Keith Richards in his book talks about how the Beatles and the Stones feud was like, no, we like owed a lot to them. Like, it was just funny. We were like
Well-
planning our single releases against each other so that we could have number ones.
And then you have the Blur versus Oasis, where they literally would have murdered each other if you put them in the same room.
Yeah.
Apparently, there was a Taylor Swift Katy Perry feud.
That was real too. That's because Katy Perry
No,
was.
I mean, I just did a search and it came up as like it was all like a fake feud.
I mean, the thing that started it apparently, which was Diplo saying that we needed to crowdsource Taylor Swift a booty, was a real incident apparently from my inside source.
Oh.
I don't
But
know if
the
the
other
rest of it was.
The other thing is like, so if you are an artist in a similar niche as someone else, even if you're not on the same label, you are still to some extent competing for similar resources, right? Like to use the Bravery Franz Ferdinand Killers or Fall Out Boy Killers example, those fans only have so many dollars. And so I understand, like, I don't really have this mindset. I believe like we're kind of here because we like have an abundance mindset, but like I definitely see how people start to clash over that because they
Well, and
sense, and it's that thing when you see people are like, oh, that person stole my content idea.
But if you think about like even going back to Gavin and Charlie, think about festivals coming up. They both win because if you're booking I want both of them on my festival, right? And maybe
Mm-hmm.
something will happen because Gavin's other thing is that he invites crazy at his shows. That's content that then generates later. So a lot of these festivals are like, oh, I want him because then people are talking about my festival. So it's good for both of them.
Mm-hmm.
Even arguably, I mean, Jesse and I, our first encounter was him. I was talking about ads, and he was like in my comment section, like ads suck, blah blah blah. You know how Jesse does, and I was like, oh, we're gonna fight, like we're
No,
gonna
well,
fight about
actually,
ads.
actually, technically, Dustin, I aimed it at somebody who commented in your comments.
Did you? I don't even remember, to be honest
It
with
was
you. I just remember it was something. But by the way, everybody jumped on it and they're like, "Oh, they're gonna fight." And I remember we created this little like piece of content that we made, and we're very reasonable, nuanced people, and I was like, "Damn, we just don't have it in us to generate this conflict," which is so disappointing. But there's something to be said about it. I wish some of my artists were like that. Like, I would love to work with somebody like Gavin, who's just like, let's get out there and get messy because it works. And only the artist can spearhead it, honestly. If the artist isn't about it, it won't happen.
Okay, I could push back on that though. The fan accounts make up the craziest shit I've ever seen these days.
Yeah.
That's true.
Yeah, like it could be also I mean, it's similarly, we were talking about a thing that people are mad about because I mentioned two Hollis dating Gracie Abrams, and I did say, whether it's real or not, there still was all these videos that got tons of views that discussed them dating. Who fucking knows? I wasn't fucking there in their bedroom. But the point being, that those fan accounts create bullshit all day. Like I made the joke when I made my long-term video about it. It's like, I have walked by two celebrities hanging out, and it's just like I seen them walk away from each other. It's like they spent the whole night together, sleeping together, and you're like, that seems strange.
There's a lot of accounts online outside of music too that their whole purpose for existing is to control a narrative, manipulate content, make something seem real or not. And like the fan accounts too, like a lot of times they're secretly controlled by people like Dustin, right? who are hired to post certain things. And so like if there was a narrative that some company was trying to spin for their artists, you might be accidentally posting misinformation, and then basically you're further spreading it. And so like there could be like you could artificially create beef like with fan accounts that never existed and the artist doesn't even know about it. And like there's real fans spreading it just because like some label person did it or whatever.
Ethically, I disagree. Like, I would never do that. I do think that there's the line for me is just making shit up for the sake of it, especially because it can hurt people. For me,
Yeah.
those fan accounts are fine if you're just trying to push the sound, like push touch points. But yeah, I know people that are like, I'm going to start rumors and stuff. And look, it works. Like, we live in that world. But man, ethically, like, I can't live with myself.
I mean, I find that
How many of you heard the rumor that Marilyn Manson had a couple of his ears removed?
I heard that a million times.
Classic.
Right?
That
was like before the internet, right?
Yeah,
So
that was that's like the thing in elementary school that just perpetual. They're still talking about that in elementary school.
While we're holding up books, been reading it.
Yeah, and like I don't know where that came from, but like someone must have started it, whether it was like on purpose or label or a fan who's like, he looks kind of skinny, he must be a freak.
Do you guys know the term hyperstition? So a hyperstition is this idea that like there's this really psychotic political guy, Nick Land named it, but like the idea is that you almost, what he likes to say is like cast a spell, like where what you're trying to do is you're trying to see if you can control the culture for your own amusement. So, for example, the big one everybody uses is J.D. Vance fucking a couch. Is that you do that and everybody then believes that actually happened. Marilyn Manson, that the rib was removed. There's tons of other ones. But the idea is that you're almost doing it for your own personal amusement. I personally there's an account I follow on Twitter that like I watch them basically like just, I wouldn't say lie, but take chart data and make narratives around artists that are very false equivalencies all the time. And it's crazy because this person's probably being paid by a label. I shouldn't say probably, is definitely paid by a label.
And
to do these accounts and try to prop up an artist's career by saying, look at this person, they're the failure of the year. This one's not the failure of the year, while this artist's album fucking tanks.
Jeez.
Yeah.
The world sucks.
Yeah.
Well, it sucks because I don't want to get into politics, but U.S. politics has weaponized this, right?
Yes,
And it's
100%.
and that's why I draw the line because it's a
You can
slippery
see the
slope. You're
fake
talking about
posts.
artists and it's fun, but then people, manipulating people and tricking them. That's the part that's like, if an artist came to me and they were like, I'm going to stir the pot with Charlie Crockett, I'd be like, go for it. But if a label came to me and is like, hey, can you make up a bunch of rumors about these two people dating? I'd be like, absolutely not. That's
And
wrong.
the issue is that can very quickly turn into it getting taken into wrong directions and people being accused of stuff, or like these narratives have a way of getting out of control that's like kind of dangerous
Yeah.
for a lot of people involved.
Donald Glover made the show Swarm for Amazon about this, and it's incredible. It's actually an indictment of Beyonce's fan base, and I was shocked Beyonce didn't put a hit on him. He was so overt about it. I've watched it 3 times. It's incredible.
I have not heard Donald Glover Swarm.
Yeah, it's incredible.
Yeah.
Absolutely incredible show.
What
Like
the heck?
Childish Gambino.
Yeah,
Donald?
yeah, that one.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's an
You
indictment
talking
of the
about
Beehive.
Those are two different people, by the way, Andrew.
I believe you mean Donald Glover from Community.
Yeah.
I
Oh, wait,
personally,
is he,
Donald Glover
is
from
he an
Atlanta.
act- Oh, right. He had I forgot. Yeah, I remember he had like an acting career
Yeah.
before he was ever
He
famous.
had an acting
Yes,
career.
yes. Atlanta is one of the 5 best shows of all time, in my opinion. Maybe in the top 10. maybe
It's
not
so
5.
good.